What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, bringing incredible guests from all over the world. So sit back, relax, and tune in. My next guest is the founder of Forged in Fire. She's an anesthesiologist, and also she plans and hosts wellness retreats for women of color. Please welcome Nikia Smith. Nikia, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I love that you create wellness retreats for women of color. Why specifically women of color?
So, in this space, it all started with myself, right? Like I just was not feeling my best self. And, there was always an expectation based on my title of being a doctor and having a good life that, things would be going well. And at one point, it got to my breaking point. I was burnt out. I was exhausted. I was just not happy. I started sharing it with my friends. And I have friends of all varying races, but I did get a resounding like, yeah, girl, me too, which was shocking. I thought we were all just kind of doing well.
Right.
So I started by planning the wellness retreat, and it was for my friends who are mostly women of color. And after we had our first retreat, it just came out that there was like, I've never felt this safe and this comfortable before.
Yeah.
And so I did want to continue to create that space where you can share deeply and just be your most vulnerable self. Now, I do, always allow supporters. My facilitator is white. So it's not like it's just about creating that space for women of color and for people to understand that it's created for us. And so if you're not, you may feel uncomfortable, but if you want to share and learn, we always appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I mean, I think when it comes to community and creating a safe space, that it's important to really kind of identify what that looks like for you and for your friends, right? And I don't think it has anything to do with color. I just think that it has to do with maybe your experiences of your background, right? And so I think that's a beautiful thing. And so what do you guys do in your retreat?
So in our retreats, we do a variety of things. So the physician one, we have to have continuing medical education credits. Okay. So we do have a few lectures, but instead of focusing mostly on like health topics, like, high blood pressure and things like that, we actually focus on things that help the practitioner. So we focus on perfectionism, maladaptive coping, and just things that, intentional eating, things that kind of affect us as we move through our life as a physician. And then I am having retreats that are not just for physicians. And they just do focus on finding joy, building deep connections, self-exploration, and just, having fun, having fun without I have to have fun, kind of feel.
Especially as a physician, as a doctor, you've got so much pressure on you, and you work crazy hours.
Yes, it's very intense.
Yeah, you need that release. You need that time to decompress and not feel so much stress.
Right. And I find that most of a lot of my friends are mothers and some of us aren't, but even if you go on a family trip or even if you go on a girls trip, someone has to plan it. And whoever's planning it is not relaxed, right? They're like, where are we going to eat? What time are you going to land? How are we going to get here? So all of these things, when you go into a trip, it's like you're trying to have a relaxing trip, but you're still having to think about all these things. So when we have these retreats, these things are planned out. The venue, the meals, all you do is show up. You partake in the events you want to partake in, or you just go in your room and take a nap. It's very free, but it's just these events are designed to promote your curiosity and your joy. But also, if you just need to rest in your room for 24 hours without kids or anybody, do that.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Maybe I can do that with no dogs, no husband, just by myself.
Just nothing. When was the last time it was empty? Truly empty.
Yeah, with having to do nothing. It's has been like that in a very long time. And so now is Forged in Fire the name for your retreats, or is that something different?
Forged in Fire is just the name for my business. I'm not a businesswoman, so I was just kind of evolving it as I went. But I read a quote in somewhere, reading things, and it said, strong women aren't burned by the fire; they're forged in it. And so I just loved that quote. And so I use basically Forged in Fire as the business name, and I use She is Fire Forged as kind of our slogan. And so the retreats, I kind of named them different things based on, what kind of, vibe or what kind of theme I'm going for. But overall, the experience is that you were not burned by the fire, you were forged in it. And now is your time. Now is your time to live that life.
I love that. Yeah, I can relate to that. I think that's a beautiful way to put it. So now the retreats that you have done have been mainly for physicians. Now you're
Mhm.
transitioning into for all women. Why do you think it's important for women of color to go on a retreat with you and have this experience?
I do believe it's important for one to realize that you're worthy of having a weekend that's all about you. It's not
Mhm.
about your family or your friends. I mean, you can bring your friends, but this is about you and what you need. And I do think that we do get kind of lost in our roles and our titles, and which is why I love like this label free thing. Like when I ask my friends, like, oh, like how do you identify? It's always like a mother, a doctor, a sister, a like whatever. But it's like, how are you? Like, what do you want?
Yeah.
And so I do try to find like things, like events and topics that will get you thinking, self-reflection, self-discovery, kind of come back to yourself. Like before you were all of these things, you were just like a fun-loving 20-year-old. What were you doing?
Yeah.
Like
Out of
think about like,
control.
yeah. Okay, so maybe you're not going to go out drinking and partying, but like one of my friends, we started bowling again. She's like, oh, I used to love bowling. I used to be in a bowling league. I used to do this. I'm like, let's go bowling.
That's
So
cool.
now we just go bowling. Like this doesn't have to be anything crazy. It's just like for 30 minutes to an hour a week, we go bowling and we just have fun.
Yeah. No, I think that's necessary just to kind of, you know, make yourself a priority, especially women like yourself that are so
Mm-hmm.
successful, that have the title and all the things that, you forget to put yourself first.
Yeah,
And I think that can create a lot of burnout.
it does. And so I just want you to know, like, yes, you're worthy. We got this. We're going to take care of everything. Do whatever you want to do. Don't even think about it. Like, don't even think. Just show up and have fun.
Yeah, that's right. I'm here for it. So when is your next retreat?
So I do have a physician retreat in October, and then I have my big open retreat will be in Savannah in May,
Oh,
Savannah, Georgia, May 6th through the 8th, and I'm really excited because I just love Savannah. I think that as a town, it promotes all of these things that I am so passionate about.
beautiful. It's a beautiful town. I've been there. I
And you
mean,
can
I love
drink
a
out in
lot.
public.
Yeah, I love a lot of parts of Georgia. There's a lot of
Hmm.
really nice towns and the food is amazing. So yeah, I
Hmm.
love that. So the physician one is open for any women of color to go that's a physician.
Yes. So the physician one in October is at Savannah Wellness Resort in Arizona, and it's open to any physician that's a woman of color or that is a very deep supporter that understands that this is a safe space for women of color and
Yeah.
would like to learn more about, themselves and how to treat themselves better and
Okay.
just overall support women of color. We love that.
Yeah. And how long is the retreat for?
So that retreat is October 6th through the 8th. So it's for two,
Oh, that's not too
it's
bad.
3 days and 2 nights. Yeah.
In Arizona, when it's nice and warm there,
In Arizona.
not,
Oh,
not too
and
hot.
yes, it's perfect time in Arizona in October because sometimes it's like too hot to even get in the pool. So this time is perfect. We got in the pool last year. We did yoga. We all got spa treatments. We had a dinner together. It was very lovely
Oh, I
and
love that.
transformative. So,
So anywhere from
yeah,
any physician of woman of color from anywhere can come and join you.
in,
So what
in
what
October.
in
Hmm.
October, and talk to us about what you're planning for your first open wellness retreat.
Yeah, so this retreat is called Tribe, and we want to support
Ooh,
women actually having community and connections because I'm hearing too many women say that they're lonely and don't have these nice, deep friendships.
yeah.
And overall, we're just promoting you guys getting to know each other and becoming friends. But I do have a mind, body, and soul theme. So we'll have a small breakout or optional session that you can focus on your mind,
Yeah.
imposter syndrome, all these sorts of things that are holding you back. I want to have a body session where you kind of do some stretching and breathing and kind of tap back into your physical health. And then a soul session, which will be a musical selection and have a soul brunch so that we can all just enjoy music and let it, kind of release and speak to us. So I'm very excited about that. Of course, it's in Savannah, great food, walking around, shopping, drinking. It's just a very relaxed environment that's beautiful to look at. I do feel
Yeah.
like it does inspire self-reflection in being
Yeah.
in Savannah.
And how long is that one for?
And that one it's also 3 days and 2 nights. So it's from I think they're both the 6th to the 8th. Oh my gosh, I should have checked my dates. I feel so bad.
That's okay. Just
I know.
ask
I'm like, they're
for a
in my
little.
calendar. But yes, they're both weekends. So they start Friday night and they end Sunday afternoon. So that you have enough time to yourself, but you don't feel like you have to, have the heavy load of childcare and
Yeah.
whoever else you're taking care of having to be alone too long.
And what are the trees? The trees in Savannah. Isn't there like a
Oh,
tree?
those I think, are they weeping willows? I
Is
don't
it?
know. They're so huge and beautiful, right? Like they're just dripping down the flowers and the
Yeah.
leaves. Oh,
There's something very spiritual about Savannah.
hmm.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's been a long time for me, but I remember going there and just like we stood in line to go to this restaurant, like stood in line around the block, and you
Hmm.
get it, and it's like family style. So you're
Hmm.
sitting with just people you've never met before, eating food, and it was so delicious. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Where can people find a little bit more information about the retreats?
So the retreats are going to be on the website with the correct dates. So it's www.sheisfireforged.com.
Oh, I like that. Okay, good.
Yeah.
And
And I
then,
look, it's October 6th to 8th for physicians and May 10 through 12 for all women of color.
all right, and then so you're doing both retreats now every year? Or are you going to be adding other retreats to your roster?
I would love to add more. I definitely want to at least do two because my physicians love that they get to go and get their CME in such a lovely and luxurious place. And then I did get other women like, well, what about us? And so that's why I created these other retreats. I would love to do more as long as the people are willing. I'm willing. If they want it, I will plan it and we will have a great time.
Yeah, no, I think that's beautiful because I think that if you are feeling, at a certain place in your life where a lot of stuff is happening around you and you are just kind of getting lost in the fray, it's important
Mm-hmm.
to like find your center again and just kind of come back to just and listening to that inner voice. I mean,
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's so important. Can you maybe share an experience after the one retreat with the physicians of how the women felt afterwards?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was
No names, no
no,
names.
no, yeah, there were no names. And I could even share I personally had a transformation. I had shared some things that I have never shared.
Okay.
Even though some of these women are my friends, I just didn't share them. And you don't share things sometimes because you're just like, well, I'm a doctor and these things happen, right? Like, what's the point of sharing it? We all go through this. But even though we all went through this, they still took the time to listen. And
Yeah.
I felt seen and heard. And they just were like, girl, we're sorry you went through that.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all, that's all you need. You
Yeah.
don't need anything else, but just like, yeah, that sucks. And I'm sorry you went through that.
Yeah. Does that
And so,
face?
yeah. And so there was definitely some crying, definitely some hugs. You don't have to cry, but, sometimes it just happens.
Yeah.
And, it's just that to feel comfortable letting these words and these emotions out and then sharing these things that you've kept to yourself. And I know that a few of the women shared stories that they've never told anybody. So to feel that level of comfort, it brings me joy.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's a safe, sacred space. And it's kind of like putting down that baggage, when you're
Mm-hmm.
able to talk about things that are, that you've never shared before and to feel
Yeah.
comfortable doing that. And then you share a bond amongst each
Yeah.
other,
You release it, feel lighter. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Put that baggage down and
Put that baggage down. I'm gonna have to say that one like leave your baggage at the door. We're letting it go today.
That's right. And just drop it. It does not belong on this journey with you any longer. um Well, wonderful. I think that's fantastic. How do you juggle all that with being an anesthesiologist planning these retreats? Because let me just tell you something. I just planned an outing to the Barbie Cafe with
Mm-hmm.
like 14 girls. No, 13. I was one of the 14. And it was like wrangling cats.
It's hard. It really is hard, but I do find that I just get a lot of joy in it. And that's something I've told people, like, just because it's your passion or because you enjoy doing it doesn't mean it's going to be easy.
Right.
And in the midst of like all of my burnout and my drama, like I had ended up leaving that job and I took a job where I made less money but had more time. And I'm like, it's just about finding that balance and that alignment, so I'm just like, less money is fine with me. I need to free my mind. And I freed my mind, and the space to do this also came with it. So priorities, it's hard though. Like, is it hard making less money? Yeah. But is it like nice having more time? Yeah.
Well, you got a good balance there, and you're doing, it sounds like you're doing something that you're really enjoying and building a community that is important to you. So
yes,
that's worth the cut and pay, right?
It definitely is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Again, can you share the link where people can, ladies can learn a little bit more about the retreats?
Yes. So the website is www.sheisfireforged.com. And I'm on socials at sheisfireforged. So that's pretty much like how we go by. But yeah.
Perfect. You guys, I'm gonna put those links in the show notes. So if you connected with Nikia's her retreats, or you're a woman of color and are interested in and a physician interested in joining her in one of her retreats, go click the link, go check her out, go follow her on social, and send her a message. I'm sure she'd love to have a conversation and connect with you either way.
Yes, I love messages.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Just send me a message. I'll respond. This is the part of the show where I like to ask for last words of wisdom or advice. What would you like to leave with us today?
So in line with being label free, I just want you to know that you are not your roles or your titles. You are an individual and you deserve to be happy. You are worthy now. You don't have to wait till later. So whatever you need to do to prioritize yourself, make sure that you do it. And if you need help, reach out. We got you.
I love that. That was beautiful. I think Athena loved that too, because she had to pop in there and show her face.
Nikia was like, I love this message.
Yeah, she does. She loves it because she's just a big love bug. Well, that was beautiful. Thank you for sharing what you do, and thank you for creating a space for women like you to get together and just be there for one another, because I think it is so important, especially as women. It doesn't matter your color, your race, whatever. It's just to have women that support each other is so important, because I know I'm sure we've all had experiences where women were not the best to us. So
yeah, understood for sure. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Nikia. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, review, comment, share, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.